Hello everyone, Jonathan Thompson, Zero to Finish. Today we're going to talk about writing the script. So, in an earlier video we talked about getting our idea down, breaking the idea up, pulling out the different pieces you need to make a story. From that, we have the basic story. We've got an end point, a beginning point, and the journey, because that's what film is all about. It's the journey. It's not the journey of the characters that you write. As contradictory as that sounds, you're writing the characters, you're writing what the characters do, you're writing what the characters say. But it's not the character's journey that you're writing. It's the audience's journey. You want the audience to get to the end of your film. You don't want the audience to start watching it and go, what is this? And leave. So the journey is not for the characters. The journey is for the audience. And that's how you have to write. You have to have emotional ups and downs, action, lulls, comic relief. Comic relief is a legitimate tool. It is designed to break up those stupidly intense moments. Those moments where the audience is on their seat, they can't move, and all of a sudden a monster jumps out, they scream, they throw their popcorn in the air, the people behind them start getting ticked off, and then something funny happens to break that moment of tension that you just created. The idea is to keep the audience engaged. Tempo. You speed things up so they go from one place to another. You slow it down so the audience has time to ingest, to think about what they just saw. Something horrific just happened. They need a moment. And that's where you start writing your characters, hiding in a corner, sharing history. The idea is you can add some exposition, add some filler, add something that just slows the pace down. But it's not for the sake of the characters. It's not for the sake of the story. It's for the sake of the audience. So when you write your script, when you write your screenplay, you've got to think the entire time, I'm not writing this for me. I'm not writing it for my characters. I'm writing it for my audience. I'm hoping that once you've taken your idea and got your story, you've done some research. You've gone out into the world of the internet and you've looked up who likes this idea. I have this idea. I have this great story. Who's going to like it? What are they saying? Where are they hanging out? How do I find people that will like this film? Once you have that, you know who you're writing for. You go to blogs and see what they're commenting. You go to Facebook groups and see what they are saying. And you start putting that in. This is what the audience want. I really like this film. It's similar to what I'm doing, but these are points that people didn't like. So let me make those points and take them out of my film. That way, the audience will like it. Or at least they'll like more of it. And while you're writing, there is no set system, no set rules for how to write your film, how to film your film. There's industry standards, but they're not solid rules. They're just how it's expected to be done. And all of that is not for you as the filmmaker. The reason a screenplay is broken up the way it is for the producers, for the director, for the actors. You have the character name and then what the character says, which are clearly delineated, so an actor can sit there and read it. You have action. You write down what is happening. And if something else is happening, so you've got Joe walks across the room and picks up an axe. Put a space. Leave a gap. Leave white space. Jeremy sits in the chair while Joe moves around behind him with the axe. That is a separate piece of action. It needs to be clearly delineated as a separate piece of action. When you are writing, white space is your friend. The more white space you have, the more likely your script is going to get picked up. And that is for the director. As a director, the first thing I do when I get a script is I take white out and I white out all of the stage notes, all of the blocking notes, all of the camera notes. Leave that stuff out of it. I want the story. I want the characters. I want the dialogue. What I don't want is to make your artistic vision. If I did that, there'd be no need for a director. Anyone could pick up your script and go, well, it says here all I need to do is this. No one's going to pick it up. If there's a dramatic moment that just has to end in a blackout, write that transition. Blackout. So that they know that is an important part of the storytelling. Don't write in every transition. Cut to, fade in, fade out, transition to black, zoom in. No one's going to read it. No one's going to care. First thing a director does if they like the story is white out all of those marks. They're going to delete every single thing you put in there telling them how to do their job. Leave it out. Put in the action. This happens. Put in the descriptions. This happens here. Put the characters' descriptions. Jonathan, a fairly large fellow in a purple shirt and a black hat with glasses, sits and talks to people. Now, when you write the character part, you put Jonathan. And then what does Jonathan say? Jonathan talks about writing a screenplay. But you write the words he puts down. Then you go back to action. Jonathan looks at the camera, salutes, tips his hat, and carries on talking. Jonathan continued. And more dialogue. Break up the dialogue. Don't leave huge monolithic statements. Only villains monologue. But when a villain monologues, if you read it in a screenplay, it's rah 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 rah. He does something, rah 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 rah. He does something, rah 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 rah. The monologue is broken up into easily digestible pieces. A lot of films now are going for one-shot takes. They're not one shot. They're broken up. The dialogue and the action should do the same. It might be a continuous shot that you want to get the effect of. Let the director figure out how to get that continuous shot. You write down your action, you write down your dialogue, you break it up so there are spaces that the director can make notes. I want this to be a cut. The camera zooms in close to the back as he backs up to a wall. He steps away from the camera. It looks like one continuous shot, but it's actually two. They cut the camera when it goes into the back. They reset a shot, reposition things so that they can continue the action. The camera picks back up at that same spot on the guy's back. Actor walks away. Everything in front of the actor looks different. But the audience sees one shot. You didn't write that. You wrote, this is what happens, this is what they say. And that, again, is not for your benefit. That's for the people buying your script. That's for the people making it. If you want to make it yourself, make it yourself. Have at it. But the first script should never have action. Camera action. It should not tell the director where that goes. That's a working script. That's something completely different. That's like the fifth rewrite in from now. What we're doing right now is writing down the journey. Where do we want our audience to go? The characters and the setting, that's just how we get the audience somewhere. The whole purpose is to write emotionally. People will invest in your film if you entice their emotions. And that is what you're doing with this. So we've got the how, white space. We've got the tools to do it, the characters, the world setting, the story. If you're writing horror, what scares you? What scares the people who like your idea? Don't ask your friends. Your friends will tell you your idea is brilliant, your idea is great, make your idea. You make your idea, you put your own time, your own money, your own efforts into making your idea. No one likes it. Your friends are biased. Your friends and family love you. Half of them will tell you, don't do it, man. You know, I don't want to see you fail. The other half will tell you, go for it. It's great. It's the best idea on the planet. Ask independent people. Send someone a message in a Facebook group. Hey, I've got an idea. Do you mind if I talk to you about it? Talk to them. So this is kind of my idea. What would you like to see in this? Well, I'd like to see this in a film for once. Okay, great. If you get that answer 3 times, make a note. This is what people want to see. And you write for those people. You write for your audience. Write what you want, but don't write it for you. Write it for the people that are going to enjoy the journey. The people who will give you their hard-earned money to step away from their life. I do a lot of horror comedy. I write fantasy as well. I write sci-fi. But I make horror and comedy sometimes together. Why? It's cheap. I don't need star power to get it to be famous. And people who like horror, there's 2 kinds. There's the kind that sympathize with the victims and think, if I was in that situation, I would Rambo the crap out of it. I'd pull out a Bowie knife and I'd go to town and I'd take that killer out. And then you get the other people who sit there and go, you know, if the killer had done that, it would have been more efficient. You let them think for a moment their darkest thoughts, their deepest hatred for humanity. You know, you are stupid, you deserve to die. I'm doing it through a film. Therefore, I am morally free. I did not do it. It is not a crime I have committed. I would just do it better than that person did. Those are the people you write for. Those are the reasons you write. Comedy. People want to laugh. They don't have enough humor in their day-to-day life. People in the film industry, often you hear the words survival job. I've worked every survival job on the planet, just about, trying to get my film career to the point it's at today. Why? Because I was always that worried. You know, I got bills to pay, I got stuff I need to do. I need a backer to jump right in. Turns out I didn't need any of that. I just needed the confidence and an understanding of an audience. Once I understood what the audience wanted, I could write for that audience. Once I understood who I was writing for, my ideas became lucrative. I get calls from people who make film. Hey, Jonathan, I'm doing this. What do you think? And I enhance their story for them using my knowledge of the audiences that I write for. And that's what you need to do when you write. You write down, these are my audience. These are my people. These are the people who will buy my film. Okay, well, what do these people want? What does your story need? What does your idea give them? Does it give them that, I would be a better survivor, I would take out the killer? Does it give them that, I'm a better killer, that guy's an idiot? What are you writing that will keep your audience in? If you use programs like Celtex, the free version of Celtex is quite good. I used that for the longest time. You can actually break it down into what you need. Subheadings, scene headings, slug lines. A slug line is something that says interior, where we are, the time of day. Those three simple things tell you exactly what's in the scene. It's interior. We're indoors. We're in the studio. Okay, so we want some light in the background. We want a backdrop. We want tripod poles to make it look like we're in the studio. Okay? It's the middle of the day. So we've got interior, studio, day. The idea there is it lets your light designer know, I need to make the lights look like it's daytime. If I can use natural light, I'll use natural light. If I can't use natural light, I will set my lights between 50 and 54,000 on their warmth scale, because sunlight is between 50 and 53. So your lighting designer knows, this is the light I need. And that tells the person that's making that film, every scene gets a slug line. Is it inside, is it outside? Where are we inside? Where are we outside? What time of day is it? None of that information is for you. None of that information is for you. That information is for your crew. In your action, you write, where are we? We are in the studio. In the studio, we see a big light. We see tripod stands. We see a backdrop, which is a two-tone backdrop. We see Jonathan sat on the chair talking at the camera. You just gave a filmmaker everything they need. You gave your crew everything they need. My crew helped me set the lights. They helped me set the mic. They helped me set the stage. It sounds stupid. I'm one man talking to a camera, but I had a crew set this up for me. And that's okay. Having people who know what they're doing is okay. Writing down the instructions for those people who know what they're doing is okay. Ricky Gervais and Ian McKellen did a sketch a while ago. It's hilarious. It's great. And it is the perfect representation of acting. So Ian McKellen is sat there giving a masterclass on acting. And Ricky Gervais walks up and says, you've got to be asking yourself, what is acting? He says, well, I'm pretty good at it. I'm fairly sure I know what I'm doing. He says, no, be quiet. Let me go over what I do. Yeah. I pretend to be something. When Peter Jackson called me about Lord of the Rings and said, I want you to be a wizard. And I said, I'm not actually a wizard. And he said, I know, but I want you to pretend you're a wizard. So I can do that. He says, did I have to worry about what I said? No. Someone wrote it down for me. Did I have to worry about where I stood? No, because the director told me. If you were to graph my progress, it would be Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian. Action. You shall not pass. Cut. Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian. It's hilarious, but it gets the point across about how to write a script. It gets the point across of how to act. You pretend. Do I need to worry about what I have to say? No, because someone wrote it down for me. You, as the screenwriter, you wrote it down. This is what they say. Do I need to worry about where I'm going and what I'm doing? No, because someone told me. The person that told me is the director. How did the director know? Because someone wrote it down for him. You, the screenwriter, wrote down what that actor was doing. The director picks the emotion involved, picks how the motion happens. They pick where the lights are. They pick where the camera are. They pick where the transitions happen. What people need from a screenwriter is the where, the when, and the how. All relating to the characters and the story, so you know where you're taking the audience. Now, if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bar so you can get told whenever we're doing stuff. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. We have a private group where we offer one-on-ones. Find our website. Links are in the description below. Now go out there and write something epic. Have fun.